Resident Evil Requiem made a surprise appearance on Nintendo's latest Direct, and it was, in a word, underwhelming. We're currently less than 6 months away from Resident Evil Requiem's release date. We've had multiple media events including Summer Game Fest and Gamescom where the game was even playable, plus publisher and platform specific coverage. Yet we still haven't seen any combat for Requiem. This is a little concerning, but probably too early to be worried about, though we definitely want to see what the actual game is. It is worth noting that Resident Evil Requiem director Koshi Nakanishi did mention early on the game would focus on an unarmed and more vulnerable gameplay experience, allowing Grace to grow into a stronger character throughout her journey. I have to be honest, I love cinematic games and great stories, however these are still video games at the end of the day. When a game's revealed, the first thing we should see is gameplay. Then you can blow our minds with some crazy story stuff afterwards. But no, we always get story first, usually multiple trailers of story. Gameplay is becoming more and more of an afterthought.
Anywho,
the new trailer gives us our first in-game look at Umbrella's presence as previously confirmed by the game's director Koshi Nakanishi. It's not much, but it's something. The more of Grace we see, the more confident I am with her as a character. From design and personality down to the way Capcom is handling the nuances in her facial expressions and reactions. Hopefully this attention to detail will be felt across the entire story and the rest of the characters. It's an odd contrast between the small little details and the fluctuating visual quality of the game as a whole, though we may now know why. Being that this new trailer was revealed via a Nintendo Direct, obviously the game is making its way to Switch 2, which may explain some of the questionable graphics. It's also come up in conversation as to whether or not Requiem will be the first modern Resident Evil title to break away from the last generation of consoles with no PS4 iteration. However, I do think this is unlikely, being that the Switch 2 is only slightly more powerful than the PS4 Pro. It's still feasible to see a previous generation release, which again would explain the visual discrepancies. Kind of.
yeah, kind of.
It doesn't excuse it, but at least it's an explanation. On the topic of visuals, the environments continue to look great. The city, the hotel, we even see a Resident Evil staple with a new creepy mansion that looks really cool. When it stops giving Village vibes, that is. The mystery man seemingly shows his face, and these guys are the same, maybe?
Question mark.
He's giving some major clock tower haunting ground vibes and already seems like he may be a bit over the top.
I've been watching you. You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique. There's no escaping your destiny.
There's no escaping your destiny. And my concern is that it may seem a little out of place. Kinda like vampires, werewolves, Magneto, you know, that kind of shit. Apparently there's gonna be a focus on Grace being special. Not sure why we're doing this again. We have an overabundance of special characters at this point, and we never seem to do anything with them. Sherry, Jake, Jill, Ethan, Rose, and technically, potentially the entire Outbreak cast and Leon have all received some sort of virus and/or vaccine. Why create another new character just to play off a gimmick that's already existed multiple times over and has never went anywhere? Except maybe Ethan, but let's not talk about that, yeah? The important thing now is gameplay. How does it play? What's the combat horror mixture? There's been concerns that the game will be too action-oriented, but given the lack of gameplay and combat, maybe the concern should be, is there enough combat? Speaking of combat, what is this gun? This is a comically giant gun with a very unconventional design, especially for an FBI agent. And I mean, I get she's small, but come on, this is a bit much. I just hope this isn't Frankenstein. This isn't a frickin' laser beam. This guy isn't a goofball.
There's no escaping your destiny.
And the game colors inside the lines of the Resident Evil universe. So basically, don't do this. This isn't Resident Evil.